Hello and welcome, everybody. Had a little tech glitch getting started today, so I apologize. Excuse me. Today we are going to be working with understanding EFT, what EFT is, and going a little bit over the, um, excuse me, going over details of how to do it and a little bit about the science, the 3 C's of tapping, and we're going to do some tapping. So thank you for joining me, and let's get started. Actually, I'm going to grab a sip of tea, and then we'll get started. Okay, EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, or tapping, is a way of calming your nervous system so that you can clear whatever it is you want to clear, stress, worry, concerns, whatever it is you want to clear, so that you can create what you want to create. We call that the 3 C's of tapping. So hang on, let me just get this out of the way. Okay. Sorry. I'm still getting over COVID, so I apologize. My voice is still working on getting back to normal. Okay, so EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques, plural. You'll sometimes see it singular, but I learned it as plural because there's different techniques to it, is where we are going to be tapping on meridian endpoints on the body that are proven to lower your cortisol level or your stress hormone. So we are going to do some tapping. And first I want to explain a little bit about it. So EFT was attributed to Gary Craig, was the founder in the early 90s. And he had a saying, try it on everything. So it's used for a lot of different things. It is approved here in the States by the Veterans Administration to work with veterans with PTSD. It's good for phobias. Whoopi Goldberg healed her fear of flying with it. It's good for cravings. It's used in a lot of different emotional eating and weight loss programs. It is fabulous for releasing limiting beliefs, healing childhood trauma. It's used in a lot of different ways. But for you as an individual, it's really helpful on a daily basis just to deal with the stress and worry of the day, because we all have stuff that happens, and it helps you in dealing with your emotions is basically what it helps with. It's also good for physical pain. Sorry that I need to work on my throat for a moment. Okay, so emotional freedom techniques or tapping. Um, I'm going to share with you how it works. I mean, a little bit of the science of it. So this is what is known as Dan Siegel's hand brain model. You can find a lot of different versions of it here on YouTube. So if you think of this as your brain, this down here is your spinal cord. This is a part you have no control over whatsoever. This part is considered the reptilian brain, the autonomic part of the brain, or automatic. This is the part that regulates breathing, regulates heartbeat, your immune system, your digestion, things that you don't really have control over. So that's this part of the brain. Then this part of the brain, the top of the brain, is the prefrontal cortex, or the thinking part of the brain. This is the part of the brain that you're using right now to listen to me. And then we have what we call the mammalian part of the brain, which is in the middle. This is where the amygdala and the hippocampus is. This is where we have emotions and memories. So when you're doing the tapping, this is the part of the brain that you're working on. So when you're just doing like counseling, cognitive behavioral therapy, you're working on the top part of the brain. And so EFT goes deeper, and then it helps you to get into this part of the brain. And this is why it calms the nervous system. It works at a deeper level, gets more into your subconscious level. So when you are stressed, when you're freaked out, when you are worried, this part of the brain goes offline. You flip your lid, if you will. And so when we do the tapping, it helps you to calm down and be able to bring this part of your brain back into balance, back into being able to work. So that's a little teeny bit of the science of it. I admit I'm not a science geek. I'm not an expert on the science of it. I will say it was interesting that in Korea, a researcher recently, I think 2014, 15, somewhere in there, literally found the meridian endpoints, that there truly is a vascular system that runs through the body that is the meridians. So the meridians are kind of consider ancient Chinese medicine, that they've been known for thousands of years, but more recently we've actually been able to prove that they actually exist, that there is a um, vascular system, and I can't remember exactly what he called it, but there's a vascular system that runs through the body, which is what you're literally affecting when you do the tapping. So let's learn how to tap. Okay. So when we do EFT, or emotional freedom techniques, or tapping, we generally start by tapping on the side of the hand. So this is the part of the hand under the pinky, and you're literally tapping with your other hand. Doesn't matter which hand, you can do either way. And you're doing what's called a set up phrase or balancing statement. And that is going to be something like, even though I'm so stressed, even though I'm so worried, even though I have so much going on with my life. So you start with what's really going on, and then you do sort of a positive. This is the balancing statement idea. And the positive in the beginning was, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. So we would play with that some today. Today, that is more varied. A lot of times we'll just say, I'm okay, or I am safe, or right here and right now, I'm okay. Or sometimes we'll say something like, I'm open to the possibility that I can, whatever it is. So that second part of the statement, we vary as needed. But for you learning it today, to use it for yourself, you can keep it simple and just say I'm okay. So it can be, even though I'm so mad at my brother, even though my back's hurting, even though I don't know how I'm going to pay for this, whatever it is, I'm okay. So that's a simple way of learning that. Okay. So we usually do 3 times on the side of the hand, and then we do what's called a round. So I start on the eyebrow point, 2 fingers right between the eyebrows. And you're just gently tapping, and you're doing what's called a reminder phrase. So with all the other points, we're going to do a reminder phrase. So today we're just focusing on stress. So I'll just be saying all this stress. Okay. Our next point after the eyebrow is the side of the eye, one-handed or 2, gently tapping on the side of the eye. Our next point is the under the eye. Under the nose. And then our next point is called the chin, but it's actually the little indentation between the lip and the chin. Our next point is called the collarbone, but you actually find your collarbone points, go down about an inch and out about an inch. So it's really right in here. And then our next point is called the underarm point, and it's down about 4 or 5 inches below the underarm. So ladies, that's the bottom of the bra line, or men, where you would wear a heart monitor, and you can do what I'm doing, same side of the body, or you can do crossbody. So either way, I find, if you want to do both sides, I think that's very challenging. It's easier to do, to me, it's easier to do the same side if you're doing both. And the last point we're using today is the top of the head. So there are other points. There's wrist points, there's finger points, there's some other points, but we're going to stick with those 9 today. So the side of the hand, the 3 around the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, and top of the head. Okay, so a couple other things I want to tell you about tapping before we do it is if you sigh, yawn, or burp. Those are all good signs of energy movement. Those are ways of showing that it's actually working. It doesn't mean if you don't do any of those, it's not working, but It's very common. I'll just put it that way. So sometimes when I'm doing it, I'll burp or I'll yawn, and so I wanted to tell you that so that you'll know what's going on. Also, we use what's called a SUD scale, or it stands for Subjective Units of Distress. If you want to know what it stands for, SUD scale, and it's just 0 to 10, and 10 being the highest, 0 being non-existent. So right now, I want to ask you to tune in to how much stress you have in your life. Tune into what you're feeling right now, stress-wise, and get that number 0 to 10. Okay, hopefully you've got that number and you're ready to go. So I'm going to ask you to repeat after me, going to the side of the hand, preferably out loud. So even though I have all this stress in my life, right here and right now, I'm okay. So even though there's so much going on in my life and so much going on in the world, I'm open to the possibility I can release and let it go. So even though I have so much stress and so much going on in my life, I deeply and completely love and accept myself and how I feel. All right, let's take a deep breath together. Going to the eyebrow point, so much stress. Side of the eye, so much to worry about. Under the eye, maybe it's health challenges. Under the nose, maybe financial challenges. Chin, maybe relationship challenges. Collarbone, or maybe I'm concerned about what's going on in the world. Under the arm, and I'm just acknowledging how I feel. Top of the head, and I'm allowing myself to feel this today. Back to the eyebrow, I'm feeling this as a way of allowing myself to acknowledge it and be open to releasing and letting it go. So I want you to keep tapping, but I want you to tune into where you feel this in your body. Where do you carry stress in your body? Is it in your neck and your shoulders? Or is it in your jawline? Is it in your chest? Is it tightness in your chest? Is it a sick feeling in your stomach? Tune into where you feel it and keep tapping and repeating after me. And I feel this in my body. Under the nose, maybe it's in my neck and shoulders. Chin, maybe it's in my jaw. Collarbone, maybe it's in my chest or stomach. I'm just allowing myself to feel what I feel. And I'm open to the possibility of releasing and letting it go. Back to the eyebrow. I wonder if I can let some of this stress go today. Side of the eye. I wonder if I can release this tension from my body. Under the eye. I wonder if I can just relax. Under the nose. Wouldn't it be cool if I could see things a little differently today? Chin. I wonder if I can have a different perspective. collarbone. I'm choosing to release and let go of as much as I can today. And I'm allowing in some peace. I'm allowing in some calm energy. And I am so grateful for however much I can let go of today. All right, I'm going to ask you to stop tapping. Put your hands over your heart. Take a deep, nourishing breath with me. And tune back into that stress level. And just notice what you notice. Has it gone down? Has it gone up? Has it not changed? So what is most common is with that amount of tapping, it'll go down at least 2 points. Sometimes I'll have big drops. I was speaking to a Rotary Club yesterday, and I had one person drop from 9 to a 3 in just 2 rounds of tapping, 1 or 2 rounds of tapping. But more commonly, it'll be like a 6 to a 4. Sometimes it goes up before it goes down, and sometimes it stays the same, but that's pretty rare. What most people experience from tapping, if they get nothing else out of it, is that they feel calmer. That just the tapping itself lowers your cortisol level, which is your stress hormone, and you feel calmer. So this was just a quick introduction to to tapping. If you'd like to know more, feel free to reach out. You can find me at yourtappingjourney.com. Obviously here on YouTube, I'm on Insight Timer Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and several events here in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. So if you go to my website, yourtappingjourney.com, you can join my newsletter and learn more. So thank you so much for joining me today. Blessings to you all. Namaste.